Good morning, Audrina and Dana. I saw a truck of linemen pass by about 2 minutes ago. It's a welcome sight because more than 27,000 homes and businesses in Gary are on day 8 without power. That includes this gas station where cars are pulling up, but the fuel pumps don't have any electricity. They're not working. So you might be able to hear there's a generator keeping at least some business alive to power it. The owner of the Citgo says he had to buy fuel somewhere else. Inside, ice cream is melting in the freezer and several cans of soda and juice are warm. The generator is only able to keep a floodlight on, the register running, and a few fridges cool. We asked how much 8 days with no electricity is costing the gas station.
As far as revenue, it's in the tens of thousands. And then product, I want to say I've thrown away about $5,000 to $7,000 worth of like dairy stuff, ice cream and stuff like that. And there's still more that needs to be thrown away.
Students in Gary were supposed to return to class today, but district officials decided to keep the kids home. NIPSCO hasn't given residents here any timeline for restoration. Gary's mayor told us earlier this week that the power company is still assessing damage here. And in Munster, the first day of school is still TBD because NIPSCO says electricity might not be fully restored until next Tuesday. Even children who have power in places like St. John are impacted because they're still not back in the classroom either. That's because of ongoing outages in other towns feeding their district, like Dyer and Cherryville. An update from Lake Central Schools on Monday said the lights are now working in most buildings, but some fire alarm and air conditioning systems are on the fritz. We noticed a small but important tweak to NIPSCO's statewide updates over the past 24 hours. Yesterday, they said their, quote, emergency response mode would be activated until this Friday. Today's update says that emergency response mode will continue through next Friday. I'm Lauren Victory reporting live in Gary, Indiana, CBS News Chicago. All right, Lauren, thank you.
It's like a horror movie out here. We've got helicopters everywhere. The roads are parking lots. It's like we're all trying to exit town and there's no gas, no power, nowhere to go. We're stuck. The car is officially off, no gas. It's hot. We got all the doors open. And Admir's annoyed, so I'm going to stop updating you guys. He wants me to sit here in hot silence and just burn up and do nothing. It's literally nuts. Okay, so we were able to get an Uber and we are just going to abandon our car and get home and figure it out later.
300. Of y'all been keeping up what's going on in Gary, Indiana, but these people been without power for about 7 days. 7 days. And a lot of people are reporting that the news, nobody not really speaking about what's going on. The crime, everything, okay? So I seen this guy who posted a video and he goes on to say, he said they've been without power for 7 days. He said finally on the 7th day, they've been thugging it out. He went to get a hotel where they had electricity, they had power. Gets to the hotel, a few minutes later, the power goes out at the hotel. Y'all, what is going on? What is going on in Gary, Indiana? Please, somebody, share, repost, send help. Send help. 7 days, no power. A lot of people don't have no money to be paying for no hotel like that. Y'all is wrong for that. I'm going to call y'all back. This is crazy. Bye, y'all. Hope y'all been keeping up what's going on. And
What's really
Stop.
Hundreds. My name's Asha. I just wanted to show y'all how dark it is in Indiana right now. We are currently day 7, no power. Don't even know when our power is going to be restored at this point because the time keeps changing. But let me show y'all how dark it is. There we go. Completely dark. It's not safe. People are breaking in people's houses and everything. I just wanted to show y'all how dark it is in Indiana right now. We are currently day 7, no power.
It's the book of 2 Ezra 8:50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutations, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. And hope and pray that this quick lesson be edifying, comforting, exhorting, uplifting to your elect. So, as you brothers and sisters seen in the opening clips, which I wasn't even aware of what was happening over there. I haven't really heard much media coverage or anything about it, but the residents over there in Gary, Indiana, have been dealing with the power outage for over a week now. So and it just goes to show you that the Lord is indeed plaguing this place, man. So let's read a little bit of this, get a couple scriptures, and that'll be the lesson. So this is from the Griot, and it reads, I can't take it. Thousands of Gary residents go over a week without power after deadly storms. Right? So let's get that real quick. Because the Lord is visiting Egypt, man. So this is Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahawah by Yahawashi of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. Right? So, there was a big storm over a week ago. I think it was on the 11th, the 10th or the 11th of August. And it knocked out, thousands of people's power. So it says residents in Gary, Indiana, and surrounding areas are struggling to stay cool, fed, and connected after storms cause prolonged power outages. This was published August 19th. What's today? The 20th. So yesterday. Thousands of residents across northwest Indiana have been living in darkness for over a week after severe storms ripped through the area last week. On August 11th, stormy conditions brought 99-mile-per-hour winds to the area, knocking down trees, power lines, and stoplights. As a result, over 300,000 NIPSCO customers have been left without power. It's really been unprecedented, not just the storm and the size of the magnitude of this storm, but we've had really storm after storm. Vince Parisi, President and Chief Operating Officer at NIPSCO, told ABC News, we're still working hard here in Gary and Hammond and a few other places to get that. We're hoping by the end of the week we'll have everybody back on. And this is a how do I say it? A glimpse into how quickly things can go and can turn to chaos, man. And I had seen an article, I think it was a couple days ago, but Iran was threatening, cyber attacks, man. And then you seen in the opening clip, with the news report, the gas station is not gonna work. The people, eating ice, all that perishable, all that is gone. Different meats, unless you have a freezer or generator to keep that going. But it's this system is very fragile, and people don't seem to realize that, man. How quickly a power outage will change your whole life. Because, most of the things in your house run on electricity, or gas, obviously, but, electricity, you got, first people are gonna, the lights, there's no TV, there's no internet, but more importantly, your refrigerator is done. So all your food will will spoil, unless it's, like, um, certain, like, waters and certain goods that are non-perishable items. But for the most part, whatever you have in your fridge, vegetables or what have you in there, they're all going bad. Everything in your freezer is gonna melt. The freezer is gonna be off, so everything is gonna go bad. So, the Lord is definitely plaguing Babylon, and it's only gonna get worse, man. And people are just, walking up and down, and, well, let's get that, acting like shit is sweet, and that's why they're gonna be visited, and it's gonna come upon them suddenly. This is exactly how the people are walking around and acting like, nothing's gonna happen to them. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Right? So these people are being visited with sudden destruction, man. One of the Jakes was talking about, Jake woman was talking about crime and everything. Of course, that comes along with the territory. If it's just dark, like that, of course that's gonna lead to, if people's security systems aren't working and people's lights aren't working and street lights aren't working. So, whoever's trying to do crimes and what have you, that's a playground for them, man. Bet you're not gonna have a bunch of women walking around at night out there anymore, when it's all dark like that, and there's no one could even see what happened. It's that dark that if somebody was to do something, nobody would even be able to see. They might hear it, but they can't help you because it's too damn dark to even, and they will be too afraid to go out there anyway. So imagine, the whole state, the whole region, the whole country, if something like that happened, and, because I watching these different movies, like these zombie movies and what have you, as much as you want to have a generator on, the generator makes noise, and that attracts people that are, trying to take from you, to spoil your goods. So it is definitely going to be a time such as never been since there was a nation, man. When shit really hits the fan, and all this, these little, snippets of things that we're seeing happening, in the world, the Lord is giving us a insight of how bad it's gonna really be, man. And these people aren't ready, man. That's why we preach and teach to the hopeful elect that we may be covered. It says the amount of damage across the service territory to individuals' homes and certainly to our infrastructure has been very significant. He added, labeling it one of the most destructive storms and largest outages in its history. The storm has also had lethal consequences, as 7 people across the state have reportedly been unalived following the devastation. As of Wednesday, the power company says it has restored power to over 282,000 customers across northwest Indiana, but thousands of residents' homes and buildings remain without power. And of the 83,000 left in the dark, over 27,000 of those are in Gary, per CBS News, according to U.S. Census data. The city has approximately 67,289 residents. 76.2% of them identify as black. Right? So the Lord is visiting you 2/3 too, man. You know? A lot of you jakes that refuse to hearken, and take heed to the men of the Lord that's been out there, teaching on the highways and byways, doing these lessons, and Jake be scoffing and don't want to hear it and wanted to, say that we're wrong, and say that God loves everybody, all that shit. The Lord's gonna is visiting you Negroes too, man. You niggas too. So let's get so I don't want to make this too long. Let's get 2nd Ezra 15 and 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Right? And this is spiritual Sodom and Egypt. In Revelation, the 11th chapter, tells you that the great city is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Sodom, because you already see all the weirdo freakism that these people do, which is one main reason this place is going to be destroyed, because sins have reached on to heaven. In Egypt, because Egypt is represents bondage, and as the scriptures say, we are yet this day in our captivity. Right? You're a debt slave from the second year, basically before you're even born. But by the time you were born, you already owe. You have a debt, So, and then all you got to do is look at the back of the dollar bill. There's a pyramid. So there's lots of ways that you could identify Babylon the Great, aka America, as spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Right? And the Lord said He's going to plague Egypt with plagues as before. Right? So what was one of the plagues that when Moses was on the scene in ancient Egypt, that the Lord had plagued ancient Egypt? And it was darkness. Exodus 10 and 21. And the Lord Yahawah said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in the land, in all the land of Egypt, 3 days. Right? They saw not one another, like in you see in those clips when they she's like, I want to show you how dark it is. Pitch black. If somebody was walking in front of her car, she wouldn't have seen nothing. And the Egyptians, they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings, man. And Bahasham Yahawashi are going to protect their elect, man. And as matter of fact, let's get it is Psalm 91. God. This is Psalm 91, and I'll start at 9. Because thou hast made the Lord Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, man. And you have to have full trust and faith, in Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, that we will be taken care of, man. Because the plagues are coming, as the Lord said, they're sent. None. Let me see if I can grab it. They're not slack. 2nd Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. You know? So that's the times that we're in. And it's only gonna get worse, man. You know, so yeah, I just wanted to report on this. You know, the Lord is visiting this place in many ways. You know, there's lots of judgments going out. You know, every morning he bringeth his judgment to light, as the scriptures say. You know, and I'm about to go to sleep and get ready for tomorrow. And, you know, you best believe, as soon as you wake up and check the news, more judgment will have gone out. And we just have to wait and see. All praise to Bahasham, Yahawashi, because the Lord is truly visiting this wicked ass place and these wicked ass people and the wicked Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. You know, their kingdom is continuing to fall right before our very eyes, man. You know, so it's truly a beautiful time to be alive. Stay locked in, Akim. You know, and you few sincere Yahawah sisters out there, you know, stay prayed up, you know, and you know, just keep hastening the day of the coming of the Lord, man. You know, because it's very nigh. You know, you could definitely feel something major is about to happen, because these devils know that they have a short time, so they got to come down with that great wrath and do something major to push forward towards the end, to the W, to the O, man. So I hope and pray this lesson was edifying as always to the elect. In closing, I want to thank Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson, and I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me his truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. Keep fighting, keep striving, keep pushing on what's out of this bitch. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing his word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom, a ball, and Kwam Yasharallah. Hey, shalom. To the next one.